Mentality is what keeps us together.
Hey, it's Nicole.
It's Tiffany.
I'm Carol.
And this is Saya, and this is what keeps us together.
Basically the group chat in your head.
Living rent free.
Bam, bam,
Hey,
bam.
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yes, it hasn't been a while,
It
but
hasn't.
it feels like
No.
it.
It's been 2 weeks.
We've just been doing a lot in these 2 weeks.
It has.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I should
a
say,
long 2
I know
weeks.
that you guys are probably used to if you watch us on YouTube rather than just listen, you're seeing a different setup today. We discussed how Nicole and I moved, new homeowners.
Hey.
And so we're in my house today because I just moved last night and we didn't have the gumption to make the line. But you won't be seeing the last of that. You may be seeing this for this one time only. We'll see. Okay, great.
We may not have the gumption
Good talk.
again.
Good talk. Good talk. Good talk.
Just know this might be in our
Repertoire.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. Well,
We got options.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, our weeks, how has your all's week been in song?
Oh, and song.
Oh, well, you go first.
Release your job. Release your.
That was my song too. But for different reasons.
Great. Are you going to sing a different part of the song?
Yeah, you won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. You seen that that guy that was like randomly, he'll just be like, I'm just going around like, you won't break my soul. You won't break my soul.
I've not.
No, I have not.
Oh, well, that's been my week.
Okay, well, I definitely want to hear why that is your weekend song. For me, it's because I just quit my job.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
life been lifing, so that's why it's mine.
Well, I'll go.
Yeah.
I've been relying heavily on my gospels and spirituals to
Come
get me
on,
through.
come on.
Hallelujah.
And after this week, truth is I'm tired. Options are few. Yeah, that's. I tried to pray.
Oh, no.
Oh
You
Lord.
need us to back you up? A little group prayer after this?
Look, we can pray, but praying is praying. You know, I'll just have a little conversation with the
Yeah,
Lord.
but when 2 or 3 are gathered,
Gathered,
right. All it is.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I think that was someone's song of the week, like for a long time when we first started doing song of the week.
Well,
I
you
know
probably
it was
take
definitely
turns.
mine once.
Yeah. The fact that the song cycles through the group.
Definitely gonna get to the top at least once every couple episodes.
Me.
That's going to be a montage.
Once a season.
Mhm.
Who's broken this week?
Not broken this week. No.
Oh
man.
God.
All right. So for me, I've been traveling and
Jet set.
yeah. So if I yawn in the middle of this, I'm sorry in advance.
Jet lag.
Because I literally just got back.
Jet lagged.
Lagged. Yes.
Jet lagged.
I can't.
Well, and we're sober. Well, I am.
We all are.
We
Okay.
all are.
I mean,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I wasn't sure.
I didn't want to be, but here I am.
Yet here we are.
It's ghetto here.
But my song of the week is gonna be Ease On Down the Road.
Come on.
Off the Wiz.
Oh, is that why
Okay.
you bought the Whiz Up?
No, I bought the Wiz up because I was trying. So I traveled to go see my brother, and he had not done his due diligence in making sure that the children had seen the Wiz. So we started off watching the Wiz, and then all this week, all we've been singing, my brother and I, has been songs from the Wiz.
Not even
So,
the
like-
kids, just y'all.
No, just us.
Wait, aren't the kids young?
Yeah, the oldest one of his oldest one is old enough to have.
Okay,
At
I was like,
least
what is the
started.
like black and
Age requirement.
Yeah, to watch the Wiz. So I
Your
make sure I write on
prerequisites.
Trey's like his little growth chart thing or
Oh,
something.
wait,
I don't
that
know.
would be a really good tips tangent. Shoot.
Just write it down for next
yeah.
time.
Right.
Or for this time. It can be whatever. No, but I think like I told him 8 or 9, and she's 8. So there you go.
Yeah, because some parts. Oh, I don't know. Is it the Wiz? It's a little scary.
Yes, we were actually, my brother and I were talking about how one part still terrified us. Like it's just
Oh, no.
Oh,
Not at your
is
big
it the same-
age.
Is it the same part that I think it is?
yes, the part where they're in the where
Factory type thing.
no, that's the subway when the
yeah.
things start getting big.
Yep.
Terrifying.
Mm.
And the garbage cans start eating.
Oh, Jesus.
or biting
Okay.
people. What? Y'all remember? Oh, that man.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Movie.
Yeah.
I own the Either VHS.
VHS.
Do you have a
DVD.
VHS player?
For all the
VCR?
movies that I
Wow.
own.
That
Yes, I
was
do.
called for a second. Do you have a VCR?
Yes, I do. I have a dual. Because I own a lot of movies.
Okay, dual.
I think my parents have the album, like the record.
It's such a
The
soundtrack.
soundtrack.
Oh my God, the soundtrack is so
That's
amazing.
dope.
Yeah.
If you've not seen The Wiz, you're missing out. It's not. It was on Prime up until the beginning of this month.
Oh,
so.
what? Why are you telling us now? I never knew that.
Right.
I would have watched it.
I didn't
Terrible.
know. I didn't know until we tried to finish the movie with my
Rude.
niece, and it was off because we watched it on the 31st beginning, and then
Dang,
they took it off on the
Dang.
Tragic.
Yes. So
I'm
she
sure if
didn't
you
even
turn
finish
on BET at any point
I'm sure.
on a Saturday, it'll
First
come
step,
on.
have cable.
Right. Or BET Plus, pay the subscription or use somebody else's.
Are you volunteering? Because I asked last time.
I don't have it.
No one.
And here we are.
That's the one thing I don't have.
That is true because I use all your.
Oh, who has Paramount? Because I need that.
I have that. I
Oh.
got you.
All right. Well, let's not talk about. If you're listening, any subscriber streaming device, we do not share passwords. Okay,
We don't.
At all.
we do not do
No.
that. That is bad.
Mm-mm.
Yes. All right.
Teen
So
drinking
moving into streaming services.
Oh wow, what a segue.
Oh.
No, thank you. So our cultural reference, or should I say, our topic for this week is going to be angry Black women, quote unquote.
Allegedly.
If you've heard the term or the
Allegedly.
phrase before, we want to dive into what that trope really even means. Our cultural reference with regards to that is if anyone knows the comedian Monique, let's say like the past 5 years, she's maybe even longer than that. She's kind of been in and out of the news. And that term has been used on her a couple of times, to say the least. But our cultural reference for today will be discussing how recently Monique made an announcement after she had sued Netflix for a race and sex discrimination lawsuit back in November of 2019. The case was settled earlier this year and terms were kind of kept hush. However, I'm going to play for you a video of her making an announcement of her upcoming special. If I can get the sound. All right. If you know Monique, she's going to cuss from the very beginning.
Can y'all believe this? I done came on home to Netflix. Hey, y'all, it's your girl Monique. And I'm so excited to share that I'll be shooting my first Netflix comedy special. Oh, and in case you didn't hear, I'm also reuniting with my friend, my brother, director Mr. Lee Daniels on the Netflix film, The Delivery. You won't want to miss either of them, so y'all stay tuned. And thank y'all, my sweet baby. I love us for real.
All right. So that was her announcement. I think that came up like just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, back on the 19th of July, she made that announcement
Really
on
recent.
Netflix page, The Strong Black Lead. So, yeah. Anybody want to talk about, or Nicole, you want to tell us what the...
I'm going to share a definition, a couple of them actually. So our lovely Wikipedia, the real, not real, anything definition. It lists here, the angry Black woman stereotype is a racial trope in American society that portrays Black women as ill-mannered and ill-tempered by nature. Related concepts are the sapphire or sassy Black woman.
Sapphire Black woman?
That's it.
It's the sapphire, just sapphire, period.
Hmm.
Or sassy Black woman.
Heard that before.
I've never
Me
heard
either.
of
That's why
sapphire
it's
either.
Wikipedia, y'all.
Right. Real, not real. But the dictionary that we frequent often, Urban Dictionary, the angry Black woman is described as an African-American female who has been exposed to many players, liars, manipulators, and cheats.
Jeez.
That her original gentle, loving, caring, nurturing
Mhm.
spirit
Yep.
has been
Be down.
is it diminished?
Diminished.
I think it what spell check. Diminished
Uh-huh.
to a blackened heart, hard exterior, and bitter disposition at times
Well,
to point to the point of no recovery.
Not no
also-
recovery. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
of
Can we
no
not
recovery.
heal?
And
no.
so wait, it says, side note,
Ew.
sister, you can't forgive and love again. That big hug. It does. That's what it says. It does say
Wow. What
that.
about the affirmation at the end? Hallelujah.
Right.
Big hug.
It does have references in case you haven't seen
Not
things like Mad
references.
Black Woman,
Oh.
Diaries of Mad Black Woman,
It's like a real reference.
Halle Berry,
Just
Lisa
in general?
Ray.
Just in
It does. It has general references. Lisa Ray. I don't know why Lisa Ray is in there, but whatever.
I can see Lisa Ray over Halle Berry. What's Halle Berry done or said?
She's been married and divorced like 82 times, and then all of her breakups are like not good.
Yeah, at all.
Oh, I didn't know I've never known her to like the reputation be angry though.
Oh, well, I think it's because Eric Benet is also black, but everybody else is white, and so we don't really get to see their side.
I've always heard like she must be crazy because.
Well, yeah, I think
There's
that's
that.
part of it.
But okay, so there's also Fantasia, but I think that there's like a redemption story to that because she's
What happened with
married.
Fantasia?
And,
Oh, when she was sued for being that man's side chick.
yeah.
Oh,
I miss a lot of black news not following the shade
Huh?
room.
What does that got to do with her being angry? Angry
Well, I
black.
think it's defining angry black women in general. So I think it's just a stamp.
I just can't
the
believe
thing that society does to
I know,
us.
but I'm just these are all women. They're naming
would've
women that
never-
I have not
Never,
seen that tag.
never. That
On.
does not track for me.
But
I mean,
I'm
But okay, I
I'm
mean, I
interested.
hear
Keep
it.
going. Who
Yes,
else is on that list?
the last one is Jasmine Sullivan.
What?
Yeah,
Okay, something
but
is
it's
wrong.
it's
Well,
labeled.
it's
Don't
probably
her
break,
music.
it's probably
It's her
break your
music.
windows, Jazz.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's the music. It's not necessarily action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a
That took us on a ride.
Yeah,
It was. At first I was like, yeah. Huh? What?
Well, I think also some of the individuals listed are not listed based off of actual things that they've done or have portrayed. I think it's because they're actors, they're creatives, and maybe they've played that role or they've sung about that thing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember like
I don't
I
think
think
I-
for
Berry
Halle Berry, you would have to
specifically.
put her movie though, because it's not every role either.
No.
yeah.
not.
That's why I'm like, huh?
Anyway,
Lisa Ray.
the angry black woman.
Lisa Ray.
Alright.
It was Players Club.
Yes.
Duh.
Uh-huh.
That was that was a lot. I'm just gonna say off top, I don't know if I agree with it being something where individuals have hardened our hearts till we have to be like that. Or I
Girl,
feel like
are you speaking for yourself?
Right.
no, yeah, because well maybe, but I just feel like I don't know if it's necessarily the world treating me like that or me standing up for myself, and you assume that's what it is. You know
Also,
what I'm saying?
can I like being angry is a natural human emotion.
Yeah.
That part.
I just don't know why for black women why it's our identity.
And
Well-
it seems ironic to me when it's like there are literal other races and genders that go places and shoot places up, but we are the trope.
Yes.
What?
Well, can I also say this? Maybe it's because I watch a lot of kid movies, but the movie where
I don't know why that's funny. Sorry.
don't judge me, but I think there's something to be said about the movie about where it's like they're like these characters, but their emotions.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. That was
And
really cute.
if you-
what movie is that called?
The anger one was,
Mhm.
in my mind, an old white man.
Agree. He definitely had a Napoleon complex.
I mean,
for
he has
sure.
like a toothbrush mustache, I think. Didn't
Right.
he?
Something
like that.
But I'm just like, it couldn't have been a woman, and if it was, then they probably would have said, "Oh, her name would have been like Keisha or something."
His name was Anger.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are
but
their
I'm-
names their emotions?
I'm just saying, like in general, if I had to put a stereotype to what that little character portrayed, it would have been an old white man. Versus, it's okay for other races, to be
Angry.
angry or
Yeah.
experience that emotion, but it's not okay for us.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a larger conversation though, because I don't know if any of those emotions were black.
That's
But
fair,
Neither here nor there.
right?
Well,
Well, have
The
any of
person
y'all
that-
ever been called an angry black woman?
yes.
Oh yeah.
You have,
To your
Okay.
face?
right?
I want to hear the story.
I'm
Right,
trying
me
to,
too.
well, now, okay, let me go back. I'm assuming.
Oh no.
okay.
I think. I mean,
Explain.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a personal antidote of being called an angry black woman.
Anecdote.
Anecdote.
Do we need to pull the Google out?
No, because Webster over here already corrected me, so we're good. We're good. No, but I think there's an assumption. I guess I'm thinking if someone calls me like a B, I'm assuming it's the same thing, and I have been like labeled that.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
I guess to me that would be the millennial equivalent.
Damn.
Mm.
Damn,
That's
Daniel.
fair. I feel like
Oh.
I have one specific, not being called angry black woman, but being called sassy, which I feel like it happens like when you're like young and you have like opinions. People are like, oh, she's so sassy. But this, I was an adult, and so I take it very differently.
Not young with opinions.
I feel like it happens all the time.
It does.
Especially with people describing their own kids, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like it was part of that definition. So, and it just recalled this memory of when I was working as an intern. I had an interview with someone that like my manager knew, and I was like, oh, do you have like any advice before I like go into this interview with this person that you know and like I don't? She's like, no, just be your usual like sassy self. And I was like, I'm not sassy here. I haven't actually shown you my personality at all. I just try to do my job. I don't really know.
Not y'all don't know who I am.
Where this is coming from.
But
Like,
not your
it doesn't-
non-personality self still being sassy.
Right.
I don't know if this is more of a stereotype or if this is like something that I've personality trait that I've shown you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of, I was like a little bit like, about that.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, that goes into like what we want to talk about, just like how as Black women in particular, I feel like we have to be very mindful of how we act in the workplace for that very reason of
Right.
being labeled.
Oh yeah, you aren't allowed to show any emotions in your workplace. You're not allowed to be to have an opinion as far as I'm concerned sometimes.
Or set boundaries.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Yeah.
Right.
Right, because it's one of these things, and I do know that in the workplace, you are also dealing with different genders, and even though we have been in the workplace for 40 plus years, it's one of these things of still you hear people over talking people or people feeling like you shouldn't have a say, and I know this is, dealing with gender roles probably still also, but it's interesting to me that women still cannot set boundaries, cannot have an opinion, or cannot point out something that has been, maybe it's the first thing I think of is like, if you know something is like racially happening to you, but people try to gaslight you and act like it's not.
Yeah.
And so then when you get upset about it, because you know what's happening,
Yep.
someone then
Becomes the victim.
yes.
Yeah, or you're being sensitive.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so I think that a lot of times in those scenarios, when another group is unaware of what is happening, or maybe racist even in general, but don't think will gaslight you and then will make it so you literally don't even want to be in that position anymore. And then you're considered to be the person that's causing problems within the office. And I
Right.
often think about how like now there's not even now, but there's been that push of trying to make sure we are diverse in the workplace and that we're inclusive in the workplace. But with that comes different cultures. And the first things that usually happen is we as Black people, especially Black women, are like feel all these microaggressions. And then we are not allowed to express how we
Right.
feel because then we're disrupting the workplace.
Yeah.
Right. I'm so I have a at the time they were my coworker, and we had, I'm not even gonna say for any job, I think when there's written communication, things can get lost in translation.
Mhm.
And immediately the response was it was defensive, and I'm just like, all I'm telling you is to just simply not do something a certain way. And immediately it was, well, Nicole is being this, that. And I'm just like,
Right.
no, I'm just trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just give
Yeah.
instruction. And when I became their manager and I was trying to correct again via, written message or whatever, they called me like, I just don't want there to be a problem or anything like that. And I'm just like, why are you immediately jumping to the fact that I might be angry or irritated or something? I'm just simply correcting you so that you don't do it again. And immediately you're taking it to another space. But I mean, I also feel like sometimes my boss will tiptoe around things because of fear of the angry Black woman.
Mhm.
Like, because there's certain
Oof.
things that me and another coworker will say or do or whatever have you, that, you know, they are very like, I feel like a lot of what's been going on in society for the last decade or so, he doesn't address with us because of that fear of the angry Black woman. He doesn't want us to go off. I'm just like, I mean, we can have conversation because we're adults and understand that we may not agree on everything, but, you know, still be adults. I don't, having also from in family, when there's multitudes of generations and certain generations saying, well, this is what you have to do at work. This is how you have to look at work. This is how you have to be at work. But that's not necessarily the message that even, you know, maybe our generation or generations younger than, like, we're told to verbalize how we feel and express ourselves. But then some people don't necessarily know how to receive that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, for me, because of that, I try to go out of my way to make my emails like, so there's no misinterpretation of my tone. So unfortunately, my emails are very like friendly, and I feel like they're overly friendly because I don't want someone to come back and be like, oh, like, because I had someone call me and was just like immediately on 10 because of how he interpreted my email. But again, my email, because of how I write my emails, I thought I wrote it really nicely. And he was like, I just don't understand why you're talking to me like this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so sir, all I'm saying is this.
Right.
And he was just like, oh. I'm like,
Also, you are actually talking to me.
yeah. And I had to tell him, I was just like, I haven't disrespected you. I'm not quite sure why you're disrespecting me. Like, we can, like, can we just have a conversation? But I hate when people when they come at you a certain way because they read something in a tone maybe that they would have said it in or something.
Mhm.
So I tried really hard to write my emails like a white man, but
So can I
Does that mean friendly or does that mean
no, it means, I feel
professional?
like they are very direct.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no exclamation points. There's no like, I don't know. I feel like there's no like, I feel like it's just like to the point mostly with their emails. And it can be read, it probably could be misinterpreted in their tone, but I don't know if they care that it can be misinterpreted.
Yep.
So can I ask, in that instance, was it a person of non-color?
Of course.
Non-color?
Well, I don't know how you say that correctly.
Was the person white? Yes.
Well, the reason why I asked is I think it's interesting that in the workplace, people who are not of color, when they receive instruction, correction, or any communication of someone that had, you know, has background of color, that
Talk your
it's
shit, sis.
always received. Like, it's like
you're looking for there to be a reason to be angry at with me instead of you reading it as if you wrote it and then reading it with, because if we're playing the same game at work and we are literally writing out exactly what we need and I'm gonna need you to read it, like it's you writing it and take all your feelings out of it.
I have a very ambiguous name. You will not know what I am based on just reading my name.
Me too.
I have found lately in the industry that the job that I'm currently in, a lot of people are looking me up on LinkedIn. And once I realized that more people are finding me on LinkedIn, I feel like once I have the ability and the power to tell people no. And once they realize who I am and what I am, they seem to be a little bit more offended about me telling them no than before.
So this is it gets to be such a big conversation, but I'm just like, never mind. I'm not gonna say it like that because that might be rude and ignorant. So
we can always take it out.
So slave master don't want to take no orders from nobody.
Okay. That's not where I thought you were going.
Right there.
I also don't
to it.
Why gotta be a slave?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that we are.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that what the stereotypical depiction of what a slave master is, don't want to take orders from nobody.
Okay.
And there's also the thought that they are, I'm quoting a little bit of this. Well, I might be misquoting, I should say, some of this from Cast book. If you have not read it, check it out, the book. But there is
I've been trying to get us to read this book for like 2 months.
Saya loves this book.
All right, go ahead. That wasn't shade.
No, I'm sure it's great.
You're just telling other people, but we still haven't done it. It's shade of myself.
It's fine. I'm telling other people because I'd like to talk to people about it because my friends who sit with me every other week still won't read the book. So
that's not true. Though.
Someone, please.
Is there a movie version yet? Because if it's on Netflix, I promise I'll watch it by
Not
tomorrow.
Carol asking for the clip notes.
Not tomorrow.
The visual clip notes
Right,
at that.
at that.
Oh, man.
Lord.
I want to read more books. I do.
It's okay.
No, you don't.
Look, I was going to give you the pass because I'm not worried about it. I know what you're going to do.
You don't. You don't want to do that.
Why are you lying?
For the viewers, because it's not for us.
I really do.
Mhm.
I want to say I don't have time, but
Okay,
okay, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
All right. Long story short, what I was trying to say with regards to that book is that there is a power dynamic with regards to race in this country where based on gender, based on race, white men have been placed at the top. And so they have found themselves in a difficult spot when they see themselves at the top, find it difficult to and the rest of the world culturally is telling
Relate
them
to others.
that not only relate, to have empathy, literally to have empathy is one of the things that they talk about, because to also piece of that as well is to try to make sure that others are checked so that they gain their empathy. Like there's in the book, it talks about how they view themselves as the ones to tell right and wrong. And so the other groups that are below them are to be, directed in the ways of being able to gain humbleness, to gain empathy where they don't have to. Like they should be able to see it.
So Nicole was right.
So Nicole was right. Yes. Yes. I was just going to say, Nicole was dead spot on. And as much as people want to be upset about that, that's the reality of where we are in this country.
Even if I say this, even if we remove race from the situation.
But you can't.
How?
I mean, you can't. But if we were to remove race from the situation in a written communication or in instructing or correcting somebody, or maybe even receiving instruction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being complicating. You're complicating the situation.
Yeah.
Right. Because from their viewpoint, they are not the ones providing the standard.
Right.
You are trying to provide the standard and they aren't told that in their minds. Right. So therein lies the problem. I think that's it's an unfortunate thing when you're in the position of a quote unquote lower caste or lower cultural status, that the expectation is that you remain humble and that you are told what to do, but you are never allowed to not. And so then I think that's where this trope comes into play, because we've been fighting for a long time and a lot of us.
But it's also ironic, right? To be like the lower cultural standard or caste or norm or whatever, and that in us doing our jobs, being presented by people who are bringing a whole bunch of emotion to a scenario that is not emotional for us. It is just us doing our job,
Right.
And then being told that we're angry as a result. Like it is all completely so ironic.
But then, I mean, it's hard to, we innately in this country usually are in positions of subordinate to a white man in some way, shape, or form, right? And so even if we move forward, I've heard about a lot of like VPs or even CEOs who have, especially white men, who have difficulties responding to them, be it a black male or a black female, getting direction, being corrected, fired. Any of that is really hard. And it is ironic because it's like, but this is the job that you're in. And if you aren't good enough to be in a, right, then take the criticism and move forward. But it's really hard for people, I don't know, to be able to do that. And it's the boundaries that we have to set. I think of going back into our cultural reference, talking about Monique.
Monique.
With regards to her.
Every week.
Right.
Or every 2 weeks.
With regards to her taking a stance with the movie Precious. And I mean, people may not have agreed. I don't know if it was in her contract. I don't know the specifics, but I just know that Lee Daniels was not happy with her with regards to promotion, and she took a stance, and he blackballed her because he didn't like her stance. I don't know if that would have been the same.
Well, did he blackball her? Well, okay, so I don't want to say he blackballed her. He and some other people have mentioned, and I think Oprah was also one of the people that mentioned that she is difficult to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So did they do her a disservice, or is she actually difficult? You know what I mean? Like, is that something you just keep to yourself?
Well, there's two things. Have you ever heard a white person actually say that somebody Black is difficult to work with? Is it that we're only hearing it from Black people because that's the news we listen to, or is it because that they're the only people that say it?
I feel like there was a...
Well, I think if you also add a layer to that, am I being difficult because I have a standard and you can't reach that standard?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I also wonder.
Amanda Steele says that a lot too.
Well, I was wondering in terms of like Monique, I don't know how it works with promotion for movies. I don't know like what is the standard, what's not. But like it seems almost like it's when you're working and you don't get paid overtime. So I just don't work overtime.
Right.
And then you're like mad because this needs to be finished. Well, I've worked my 40 hours this week, so I guess
just because everybody else is doing it.
Don't wait till Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember. I wish we had talked about this, I don't know, years ago. Because I remember when he said it, I felt like no one was shocked. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, Monique is so hard. She can't be. Like, I don't remember anyone. I remember people being like, oh, that makes sense.
But I also wonder if it's because of the roles she plays. Like, it's not like I know Monique.
Well, I don't know if it could also be her stand-up. Like, she comes, I think even in her stand-up comedy, in her show too. Didn't she used to have a talk show?
Yeah.
She is
I forgot about that.
Yeah, her personality type is a little bit more aggressive, I would say, than
Well, is it aggressive or direct?
I would say both. Like, I feel like it's kind of like, and I agree, words do matter, and obviously, because she, her, but I kind of like, it was like a Wendy Williams. I feel like Wendy Williams is also, her approach to people is a little bit more aggressive than others. I would say that.
Yeah.
I won't say, whether it's good or bad, like you know what I mean? Like, they're both very successful Black women. I feel like Monique has done a lot in her career and she deserves to be compensated for her time as anyone. Like, or if it's in my contract to do X, Y, and Z and you're asking me to do B without running me my money, like, that's her prerogative, whether she wants to do it or not. But if this leads me to the whole, the Netflix thing and her asking people to boycott Netflix when they wouldn't pay her, I was a little bit like, I don't know if someone's offering you money that you don't agree with, it is your prerogative to turn it down, right? Like, you should know your worth. I don't know if I have to boycott something just because you guys can't agree to contract terms.
Right.
Well, I think, and I hate to say it like this, but I think what she's trying to equate her issue to is not having the right to ride a bus. So you boycott something and it's not the same. You need to figure out how to deal with your contract. Kind of like you're going to work. So if we go to work, it's up to us to make sure that we are compensated based off of what we think we're worthy of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like what our worth is, versus me saying, well, company ABC is not paying me what I'm worth, so don't nobody should work there. Well, they're paying some people what they worth,
or people even what they feel they deserve.
Right.
Yeah. So that was on my only thing with the whole boycott Netflix. Wow. I don't know what I just said. The whole boycott Netflix thing. I was just like, did they call you out your name? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Right.
I also like to think about that in terms of like people that try to get shows on different like platforms and different like industries, or like whether it's like HBO or it's Netflix or it's Showtime. You know what I mean? If every time someone got told no, they were like, oh, boycott them. Fuck them. They didn't pick up my show. You're
I
like,
said
what?
no. It's
Okay,
like
so
I
I don't-
never said.
Put it on
yes.
YouTube. Like, I don't know.
Never said yes.
But it's the bigger issue, I guess. I hear what you guys are saying, but it also makes me think about the fact that what she was trying to accomplish had a bigger goal than just herself, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like initially she was comparing herself to, what's it, Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer, yeah. And Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart, right?
I don't remember.
But that point of comparison is hard.
Yeah.
Because what you're comparing isn't apples to apples necessarily in that sense. At the time that this happened, I don't even know the last time I saw a Monique stand up. So it's kind of like when Kevin Hart put Chris Rock on his tour, and then there was like, oh, who's the headliner? Like, who's going last? And it's like, well, this is an interesting conversation because obviously both of them are like moguls in terms of Black stand-up comedy. But I mean, if we're being completely honest, Chris Rock right now isn't the gold mic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not a snub to Chris Rock. It's not like saying that Chris Rock is trash or that he doesn't deserve to be the headliner. It's just that like being at this moment in time, like,
who's the bigger draw?
Yeah.
Right. No, I guess
I do know what you're saying because Wanda Sykes, I think, came out and said that Netflix didn't offer
and that's
her or something the same amount of money, or they wouldn't. I do remember Wanda Sykes coming out and like co-signing what Monique was saying.
And that's the thing that I was thinking about with regards to like, I like at first I was with you, Kara. I was like, okay, this just doesn't feel like this is the way in which this needs to be handled. But it made me question because sometimes you can get on your soapbox and your point that you're trying to make gets overshadowed by like maybe another point that you made. So I felt like maybe what she was trying to say is that Black women, comedians especially, need to be at the table and be able to at least negotiate for something higher. And I don't know if she felt like that was happening. That was what I felt like was happening, what she was trying to say, but I felt it got like lost in like everything else. But I don't know.
But I still don't think that's a reason to boycott.
Well, I also, to me, it kind of reminded me of like when Hov started Tidal and he was like, you guys need to join Tidal because musicians aren't getting paid what they are worth. And it's kind of like, you kind of have to recognize your audience. Like, you turned down an X $1 million contract because it wasn't XX million, right? But those are rich people problems to us. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, like, okay,
That's
like
true.
I'm sorry that you're not getting paid what you're worth. That sucks. But we also feel like that. You know what I mean? In like different regards. So it's kind of like you kind of have to know how to package it in order to garner the response that you're looking for. And I don't think that like boycott Netflix is really realistic for us when we don't. The problem seems more like your negotiation side, or you know what I mean? It's not like you were.
Also, we canceled cable, so what are we supposed to do?
Right. Girl, and then she answered like right before the pandemic. So it was really like,
oh, you trying it? What am I supposed to do out here? Just like Hulu?
Like, I love you, Monique, but girl, we got things to do during these pandemic days.
Okay? Not us being trash.
We are though. I feel like we acknowledge it every episode. It's like
we are part of the problem.
We've never given up their seat to somebody on a plane, but neither would I.
People listen.
Oh man,
right?
It's terrible.
Okay, but so then going back now, Monique now has a deal with Netflix. So like, and again, this again now because all you wanted was more money.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
But okay, but you
And that's
have
fine.
the same problem that.
Are we supposed to boycott Netflix now?
Right.
Oh, it's over?
That part.
The boycott's over. She got the more money. It's just over.
Right.
But again,
Or I hope
in
she
my
got the
mind,
more
I
money.
think I feel like you are experiencing what most of the world like. I'm not counting Monique's ducats. Like I'm not. I don't know how much money you have. I don't know how much money you're worth. But I would like to think that you are more than an upper middle class. Like I would think that, right? So if that's the case,
is she managing her money?
Like
yes,
that part. But to Tiff's point, like this sounds like rich people problems because now that you're experiencing what most of America is experiencing, which is not getting paid what they are worth. And now you want people to boycott.
Oh, you're so right.
Like, just like the rest of us.
Right. Like
welcome to the
welcome.
Being a regular nigga.
And I also feel like it's very different. Like we talked about comparing it with Dave Chappelle when he was like not boycott Netflix, but don't watch the Chappelle show on Netflix because I don't get the royalties from it because I didn't own it.
Well, you recorded it like a dummy.
Well,
without your contract.
Right. No, it's because the network that he did it on owned it, Nicole.
Which is true, but it's like
okay, wait, let me finish my point before you go out the window with this because people stopped watching it and then
it got pulled.
Yeah,
okay,
pulled.
all right.
That's fair.
Also,
I thought it got pulled for another reason though, because of something of derogatory.
He was the catalyst.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That was it. I was gonna let Nicole get her shit off. I didn't know what the rest of the point was.
Oh, but also me, I have the bootleg version of the Chappelle Show on like 6 CDs at home.
Yes.
Remember when we used to get it from like the beauty shop?
Yes.
Oh man.
Or like did you guys?
I got watches. I got
the Burn
CDs. I got
DVDs.
Yeah, did y'all school have like the bootleg man?
no.
No.
Your school.
Well, not my school, but the hair salon.
Like
The
your
hair
high
salon for
school?
sure.
No, like in college,
college.
there would be a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
that
I
would
was
walk
like, Fairfax
around.
County has
Yeah.
bootleg men.
Girl, no, but my HBCU,
Shock.
Yes.
Okay.
they had
for
a man
sure.
that walked around with like bootleg CDs and movies and shows.
Yes.
First
Yeah.
of all, at
That's
the
good.
hairdresser I worked at, we had bootleg CDs, DVDs, purses, perfume. We had
So it was
someone.
the mall.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was the grocery store.
In the trunk of his
I'm
car.
not lying.
Not the grocery store.
Because
I'm not lying.
You've been at the salon for 4+
Facts.
hours.
Yeah.
Why not get yourself
You get
some
your
DVDs?
greens, your sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Your
I mean, now I don't have time to go to the store because I
Right.
was supposed to be here from 10 to 2 and it's 6 p.m. So I hope you
All
got
the
it.
black experience.
Also, I know how comfortable I feel with you buying collard greens in the back of someone's trunk.
Okay,
If they've gone to the store
What
for
month
me,
is it?
there was a man that would come up from Southern Virginia and would bring when you drive into rural
Oh,
areas, they
okay.
have
That's
the man
what
on the
kind of
side of the
area?
road that's
Yeah.
selling
What kind of
pumpkins or
area?
whatever.
Wrong.
I mean, I did it too. I just want to point out that someone else did it as well.
Is it because I'm a little country?
I think you said
Yeah.
royal.
No, I didn't. I said rural.
Let's see. I thought you said royal too. That's why I didn't correct you because I thought you said. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, but yes, he would drive up with what he would harvest from his farm: greens, squash, everything.
Yeah, they have those in New York, but he didn't go to a store and then just bring it to you. Like
No,
he
that's
just,
like, I
thought he went to
brought it up.
Giant.
No.
Okay.
And was like, let me just go buy
The
these
farmer's
greens
market
in
at the
bulk.
hair salon is what it was.
That sounds. I mean,
that sounds like a better
a mobile
situation.
farmers market sounds pretty lit.
It does sound
Mhm.
dope. Bring that back.
It
Right.
was.
No, you ain't gonna know nobody's salon to be sitting there for long enough for him to come
No,
in.
but see, you don't have to sit. You get the phone call that he's there, and then you just show up and get your
You guys,
stuff.
we
You go.
have completely went off the rails.
Sorry, you're right. Back to Monique.
Again.
Back to knowing.
No.
Look,
Dang it.
sometimes I feel like we get tired of talking about Auntie Monique. We need to just
I
pick
mean,
somebody else.
I agree. Especially when I saw it go back to Netflix, it kind of reminded me, which I didn't mind. Again, if finally, I really hope it was worth it after all the lawyers' fees and all that stuff. Like, I hope you actually got the money that you wanted out of this.
Right.
And
True.
she got 2 deals out of it. She got the Lee Daniels movie and the stand-up. So I'm
that's
assuming she's got a pretty big bag from it.
Yeah.
She getting money.
I hope. I sincerely hope that she got paid what clearly she took it. So
Yeah.
she felt she deserved it.
Okay, but let's kind of go back to why we didn't just support her from the break. I mean, besides boycott Netflix is kind
Was
of
it
crazy.
because she was an
Kind of
angry
a
black
crazy
woman?
place to start, but
Was it because we felt like she was
I
an
feel like
angry
if
black
Issa
woman?
was like boycott Netflix, I'd be like, okay.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know if I would make that commitment. So
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard.
Yeah, no,
I
it
would
be
probably
hard.
watch it less.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I respect
Instead
that.
of all day, I'm going to watch it.
Like what? I need to understand what your reasons are. Like, why are you calling for did they do something discriminatory outside of just not paying you fairly? Because that's the rest of the world.
So what's your
Right.
line? So is it because it was Monique or because of what she was asking
Right,
for?
that's
Is the
what I'm
question.
asking. Yeah,
Mm.
I think it was both.
Wait, how do you mean?
if I'm
Like,
being
again,
honest.
if it was, who is your favorite actress?
Halle Berry.
I don't think
Who's your favorite person?
Harry,
me.
Okay. So, who else is your favorite person that is not yourself?
a famous person.
Yes, a famous person that you really like.
That I really like. I don't know, because I used to love Monique.
Okay.
Okay, but why didn't you support sis? Well, okay,
Yes.
here's a better question.
Yeah, why she used to
what
be.
Could Monique have said that you would have gotten behind if she was like, "Don't do X"?
Like if it
To
was
support
something
me.
that was personal and racially directed, then I probably would have
If that's
been.
what happened to her,
Yes.
but what would she have asked you to do?
Isn't that what she said?
I thought so. It's like, so everything that she
No,
said.
I loved her and I loved her cause. Fuck you, Monique. I'm watching Netflix every
No,
day.
I mean, I don't understand how not being paid fairly is racially directed.
okay.
because it's a
Oh.
lot of people.
I understand. Okay, so let's change
But it was- she
the
was
direction.
saying-
Like, what could she have done if it was like? So basically, that is what happened. But she was saying it was because she was a black woman that it happened.
So if
not
she was
just
like,
because she can't negotiate her
Netflix
shit.
called me a nigga, hard R. Then you would have been like,
Yes, I would have.
boycott.
Okay.
Yes, I would have been for it. But
because it also could affect
I
you.
don't know if I can get behind her because she's in a bucket with a lot of other people, though.
Okay, so what do you think she should have asked you to do instead?
I think that she should have used her platform differently. I think that maybe she should have taken her business elsewhere. Maybe try to find a contract with Hulu, or I mean, I'm not saying that specifically, but I'm saying I don't know if
Shop around.
Right, shop around. I don't know if boycotting would have been the move because, like I said, so many people are in that same bucket. But maybe, I don't know, maybe this is just grand scheme. Money's not an option. You start binding together to get a consistent message across for the greater thing, like paying women fairly and maybe in your market. And what comes to me is, I think that there was a soccer player, right, that fought about fair wages for soccer.
Oh,
right?
Rapinoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, it was the
I don't
whole
know the
national
names.
team, but yeah.
Correct. But I'm saying, like, if it,
It was all the women on the team that were doing it. But yeah. Go ahead. Get your shit off. Yeah. Go ahead.
You got it, girl. Keep going.
She's not wrong.
You knew what she was talking about. You knew what she was talking about.
I did.
Right.
I did.
What I'm saying is, maybe if you bind together with your other comedian,
So it had to be
friends.
more than her.
Ooh.
correct.
Even though you
Ooh, that
loved
seems
her.
problematic.
That does.
Does it?
Yeah, because she has to be backed up by more people for you to believe her and to support
No,
her.
it's not that I don't believe her.
Before you move.
I think
You just don't
for
care.
I
real-
just don't think that it's.
It's only you. I don't care about you. Get some of your friends and then I might care.
Can I step in here?
Yes, go
Can I
ahead.
save you?
Yes, please.
Okay,
It's fine.
I'm gonna give you your life raft. I think Monique's the way she does things is what turns people off. It's kind
Okay,
of like
fair.
with the whole DL Hughley situation.
Ooh.
Like you have a contract dispute, you're mad at DL Hughley for whatever reason, and you go on stage and you immediately start cussing this man out. And you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then like going on Twitter and you guys are having a beef. Like I think it's just her,
Delivery.
how she decides to go about things is what turns people off.
And it has a lot to do with the support. I mean, anytime that you're trying to get people to boycott something, it's a marketing campaign. So you have to know how to
Yeah.
talk to people.
Yeah.
You have to know how to win your audience over in order to put them into action.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems very fair.
Can I ask
Matt.
if it's also because this is something where yes, she is a victim, but the way in which she is handling it is that it's not to Nicole's point, I think what she's trying to say, like, okay, yes, you are the victim. It's like, I believe that you are a victim, but you're not the only victim. Is that what you're trying to get at, Nicole?
Well,
like,
yeah.
Because I feel like with Monique, it's like this thing is happening to me.
Me and me only.
And me only. And it's not that it's not. And it's not that we don't believe you.
Right.
But in that, like the DL Hughley scenario, like
Mhm.
you're attacking this man for a plethora of reasons. But that the main thing is I am being treated this way.
Like
Correct.
you're on an island.
Yes, like you're on an island. And I hate to say that is a thing that people have an issue with, but it is. It's very much a thing where people are like, you're not by yourself.
Right.
This is a bigger thing. And that's bad because like, when can a victim just be a victim? And
Well,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
like, but I think that's it though. I think it's just that had she used her voice in a way, because I think that her voice carries weight. So it would be so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Nicole saying like, yeah, let's get everybody together because you do hold this weight.
Right.
But it's like we want her to be more humble.
Mm.
And I don't know.
No, I'm
That's
not even
hard.
going to say humble because I feel like you can still deliver something and not be humble. But
Okay.
I will say use your platform wisely. I think there's like a time and place for certain things. And maybe that's,
This
Yeah,
whole conversation
yeah,
is making me
yeah,
cringe.
Yeah,
It's
that's hard.
problematic.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm a
and
part of the problem.
I mean,
We are.
from where I know that some of my thinking is very Gen X and probably a little Gen Y, not much at all, just because of how I was raised. But I still tiptoe, and again, it's probably a me thing more so than anything, because when I first listened to it, it was me, but you're not the only person that's going through it. So like for me, it's like you're right, turned off because I'm just like, you ain't out here alone, like. And it's not right because if you're going through something, that's validated. You're going through something, you should be able to feel and do however you want to feel and do. Which, I mean, that's a learning lesson for me personally, for real, is validating just how I feel and do.
Mhm.
So I get where it's problematic because I have a hard time resonating with Monique about, because I'm like we all out here trying to hustle. But I also think there's something to be said about how you, like you said, how you present something to somebody that will, like you said, it's a marketing scheme. Like, you want me to do something, but why? Like, what am I getting anything out of this?
I also hate that I said that. So I also want to be very clear about that, because it's real, but it shouldn't be. Like,
No.
if you're being wronged, like, I shouldn't have to then figure out how to package this information in a way
As
to
the
garner a
victim.
certain response. But I just realized that is probably a trauma response, because my therapist asked me the other day, she was like, why do you care so much how your story is received by people? And I'm like, God, I'm doing it again.
Ooh, the layers that be coming
No,
back.
but going back to, like, victims are always the ones that have to defend themselves to convince you that their story is real,
Right.
and having to be the one that the spotlight is on. It's very rare that the accused, or, well, not the accused, what's the other word? The perpetrator?
Yeah.
Like, that person, like, they don't, I mean, I guess they do in the court of public opinion and everything else. They do have to defend themselves, but typically it's the victim that is, like, trying to garner.
You know what I'm realizing too is that it probably is because for a lot of people, if you're the victim bringing a problem to light, you're creating an issue.
Yes.
Whereas
exactly
you're
it.
not actually creating the issue.
Right.
You are
Responding.
contending
Right.
with an issue.
Yeah.
But because you are the beacon of the information to other people's perception, you are the creator of the issue.
So
Yes.
it kind of makes me think of, like, sibling. Okay, so I'll speak for me personally, being the older sibling in a situation where I have a younger sister. I would be minding my business, but it's because I made more noise. So, like, if Mary did something or was annoying me, oh my God, Mary, leave your sister alone. But that might be a bad example, but, like, the concept of whoever makes the most noise then becomes the problem in the situation, when that's not necessarily who actually initiated.
Yeah.
The example I wanted to give earlier is working in work environments when you're trying to be more diverse, but you have people who don't have the cultural sensitivity to work within that environment. So there's a desire for certain workspaces to keep the friction low.
Right.
It's just easier to have and hire people who are from the same homogeneous background and culture, so that there's less problems within HR or everything else. And the issue isn't so much that, like, it's not possible, is that people don't want to have to deal with learning, changing, and being something else. So instead, the person who is coming in as that diversity hire for whatever reason and is telling everyone, like, I don't need you to ask me about my hair. I don't need you to, talk about how my food stinks. I don't need, like, just learn how to coexist with someone who is culturally different. But instead, when we move outside that box that they've created and are okay with, that's when there becomes a problem. And it's usually the, person who's the individual outlier. And I think that that's also the reason why people become and are labeled angry Black women, because it's like, I'm responding to you not knowing how to be culturally sensitive. And then now I am considered to be the problem, when no, I just needed to check you that this is not how you talk to women, or this is not how you talk to a Black woman, or this is not how you talk to someone who's a subordinate to you. Like, there are ways to be able to handle it. And what you think is funny ain't funny over here. Like, just like little things that aren't, or microaggressions, I should say, that people are just not willing to learn and adapt to, become our problem instead of becoming the perpetrator's problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Did we touch on why people supported Dave and not?
It's Dave, A. But B, I think that Dave's audience is more broad and diverse. Also.
Ooh. Okay.
I would agree.
Yeah, good point.
So
Ooh,
I think
dang, that's annoying.
Yeah. So I think that also yields something else where like I was also wondering about, because this isn't, is that the first time that Monique has been a victim of a situation, according to her?
No, because the first time would have been
Lee Daniels.
Lee Daniels.
Well, the blackballing. I can't remember if it was him that did it or.
I just feel like the other end of that conversation that becomes concerning is that Monique is at the center of drama. So like, it's kind of like, are you experiencing problems, or are you causing problems?
Okay, so to that point, like I think about, and I guess this is a very different scenario. I think we talked about this before, but Dave leaving Comedy Central, and his contract, his reasoning was not the same. He wasn't loud about it. He just left. So I don't know if that may also have a bearing on.
That was just as jarring, though.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking.
But he didn't talk about his own.
Right, and that's why I'm
until
wondering.
Much later.
And he didn't address it in a way where I think he just felt like I wasn't going to deal with it. So that's, I'm not. That's it. I'm out. And he may have been in a better position, or he just may have been in a better place mentally where he could do that. Where for her, maybe monetarily she's not in a better position, or maybe she's not okay with just walking away from a situation. I think we cannot expect everyone to have the same response at all. And so I don't know.
I think that it there's a couple things that happen there, right? You leave a very successful show that you've created this audience for, that is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like there's that difference. And then in the way that you left, it left a big question mark for your audience as to like what happened to you. So like, a lot people of money are waiting to hear your story, as opposed to you enforcing a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
coming out.
There are people that are like A, want to make sure that never happens again, and then B, like want to understand why you left them in the wake. You know what I mean? So that you have a very different response from an audience that is waiting to hear from you.
Right.
Yeah. Also, Dave left a lot of money on the table, whereas Monique was asking for money. So that could also be the issue, like, or not the issue, but another difference for people. Like, you're mad because
similar, different, like Saya said, though, like different way of tackling a very similar issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I guess it all goes back to money in the contract negotiation.
Yeah. But I would also say it also goes back to, I think, the way in which we perceive how people should respond. We were saying earlier, like, we want people to be humble in order for us to feel a certain type of way. And Dave may not have come out right away, but one thing that it did make us feel like he was being introspective. And to me, that's a way of people saying, oh, like, you've taken the time to do what's necessary for you to figure out where you're at. So I'm okay with that journey versus like you're just coming out guns blazing without having taken a thought to like, well, how are you responsible or anything else like that, which shouldn't be a qualifier, but
yeah, it's also like it's not our place to tell you how to tell someone else how to respond to how they were being treated.
I mean, until you asking us for help.
But you did ask. I mean, she did ask for it. So yeah.
I think the other thing is, so like going back to the video that we started the episode with, just I'm back home at Netflix.
I thought it was really interesting she called it home.
Right. And back with my brother, Lee Daniels. I'm just like, two really big entities that you have major problem with, but now everything's cool. And I guess from my perspective, if someone hurts me, if you wrong me and I cut you off, your ass is cut off.
Well, I will say,
okay, Scorpio, calm down.
Sorry.
Well, to the whole Lee Daniels situation, he publicly came out and apologized to her. Like they said they had a conversation, and then he. So I think for me, her calling Lee Daniels
said, and
that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right. So when we break up, we break up.
Right. It's over.
You can say sorry, but I still ain't messing with you.
Yeah, I think for them it was different because he said that they were actually friends before. I guess before the business.
Nicole said.
Right. I mean,
just giving her the other side.
There have been friends that I have cut off because
over less.
Right.
I mean, with no contracts involved.
But they also putting money, hundreds of millions, or
like why
Money in your pocket.
okay, so going back to like why what is different now that wasn't years ago with the two of them?
They talked and had a conversation and he apologized.
Okay, maybe that's personal me. Like, again, if I cut you off, it's done. Like, you can apologize, all can be forgiven, but now I'm moving on to something else.
I'm just telling you what changed.
That's fine.
Yeah, but again, everyone is
I'm suddenly feeling like I need to be like addressing you and our friendship differently.
It's not.
Nicole, is everything
I'm
okay?
gonna text right.
Right.
Text you every night. We good? Okay, just check.
When Nicole doesn't respond for a month, guys. I think we got cut off.
Yes.
We should be cutting you off. What do you mean?
I mean, you probably should.
Probably should. This is what doesn't keep us together.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Anyway, sorry, guys.
The alarm bells are ringing.
Hey, this just got a little too personal.
Bring it back.
Right. Did you have something, Saya?
I did. With regards to what?
Okay, maybe you didn't. I thought you were trying to talk in.
Well, we could talk about how like a trend in you being wronged or you being the problem with some other people besides Monique.
Okay.
Like maybe Gabrielle Union or Amanda Seales.
Yeah. Fuck Gabby.
Oh, let's go to Gabby.
Okay.
What was your question going to be?
Just how people perceive her. And I would like to say maybe at work. I mean, in her professional life. From the lens of which, I mean, I follow her on Instagram. I don't have favorites. I follow her because she's in things that I like. But
she can be your favorite. It's okay. Like, you can like her.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do like her. I do.
I don't know why you have to this caveat. I mean, I don't like her, but I follow her.
No, it's not that I don't like her. I never said that. I'm just saying, like, I don't have favorites. But anyway.
Who's the caveat for?
Right? I don't know.
Who's going to be offended by you having favorites?
I don't know. Anyway,
what is the point you want to make?
What I'm getting ready to make is, in following her over the years, I know that people have called her difficult. And like the one that sticks out to me the most is the role that she played on Deliver Us from Eva. Like, and sometimes I'm like, I wonder if she really acts like that. But then I'm like, no, she can't act like that. Because when I watch like little Instagram videos of her behind the scenes, like she seems like a very pleasant person. So I'm like, kind of like.
Not you deciding you know exactly who she is from her movies and her Instagram.
Well, to be fair,
she's never been sad either, right?
Right.
I mean, she's been miserable. Have you seen Being Mary Jane? Like, she's been all of those
Not
things.
her autobiography, but being
but
Mary
it's really
Jane.
her work.
She's been all of these things.
But
But
to be fair, before social media was really a thing, all of her roles, she was typecasted. She
Yeah,
was
she
the
was.
exact
Definitely.
same type of
she
person.
openly talks about that
Yeah.
as well.
So it's easy to think that she's a B when she plays a B.
I feel like that's what Monique was contented with too.
But I think it's different from Monique because she had stand up
yeah.
where I could actually
But
see
it's
who you are as
still-
a person.
Well, I still
And her talk show.
Okay, but stand up is still a character.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's a character, but you talk about real things. Like a lot of stand-up comedians literally make their money off of talking about their real life shit.
And some of them lie.
But I'm not saying right. But I'm not saying that like that it's not necessarily real life, but some of like it's hyperbolized.
Yes.
Or it's encapsulated in a way to make it funny.
Yeah, but she also, if that's her character, she chose a character that acts like her characters on TV.
I mean, yeah, no, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is that doesn't mean we know them. That's the only point I'm making.
Yes.
I'm not saying that there's not choice or options there. All I'm saying is it doesn't mean that that's who they are day in and day out.
Oh,
because
no,
that's
I
who they are
totally
on
agree with
stage.
you.
Okay.
But also her on Instagram is annoying. So I don't know if that's a character either, but
That's real life, baby.
yeah, maybe she should make better character choices.
That's real life.
I don't know.
That's real life, baby.
So is this
Boycott Netflix
playing
because
about
they
the
only
violence?
offer me roles where I am an angry black woman. I'm sick of it.
I feel like Gabrielle Union Instagram helped.
Agreed.
Well, she also does things on her Instagram that are very pro black women.
Oh yeah, for
She
sure.
has her like Women Wednesdays or something where
Yeah.
she like chooses different black women in different industries and like is like very publicly very supportive of them.
I also think that when you
Yeah.
are constantly IGing and like just being the fake everything's great, everything's happy, everything's wonderful is annoying. But to your point, one thing I do appreciate about Gabby is like how sometimes she'll be very vulnerable. Like I think she did this one post. They went to an award show. I don't know, but her dress was beautiful. She looked gorgeous. And she was talking about how she had hella anxiety leading up to that moment. And I was just like, yo, she's just she's just a regular person. She's just a regular person.
That's probably on purpose. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe it was marketing. I don't know, but prayerfully it won't.
No, I agree. There's it's kind of like reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's some people who should be on reality TV because it completely changed your perception of them. Yeah. And there's some people who should never be in front of a lens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I.e. Kelly Price.
Okay. Straight to the name.
I've never seen anything.
Girl, you don't want to.
What was that show on
R&B Divas?
Yes, R&B
After
Divas.
that, I was
wow.
like, yo, I used to love you.
Same. And I was like, wow, you're one of those people that should never do reality TV. But on the flip side, I feel like Tiana Taylor, like I liked her before. I love her after Instagram and her show with her husband and her kids.
Agreed.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Let's get back to Gabrielle.
I
don't know. What's the topic?
Angry black woman.
To Carol's point.
Who had a point?
Kelly Price. What, like, if I had to stamp somebody angry.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Get into it. And that's not a roll.
Why are you rubbing your hands?
No,
Which one is it? Which one's it?
Yep. Okay. If I had to stamp someone angry,
the gun cock? Is that what you're looking for?
Cock.
No, actually, I wanted the pop.
Oh my God.
We
keep telling our audience that we're rusty when we do this every week, and still somehow. Go ahead.
Anyway, Kelly. So I resonated with Kelly Price because she was.
Is she your favorite?
Shut up, girl. I resonated with her because she liked to sing. She was plus size out here in the industry. So, I'm like, okay, big girl. She's black. Well, I mean,
she's a woman.
Those things. Well, outside of those things. But when you, going back to our previous episode, when you are fluffy, then you like to see what you look like, right? So seeing Kelly Price on TV and in the industry and singing, like, I was like, oh, wow, maybe I could be a singer too one day. Kind of like role model-esque a little bit. Seeing her on R&B Divas, I was like, oh, this heifer is rude as fuck.
Not she's a whole heifer.
No, but she really was. Like, it was the constant snippiness. It was her just cutting people off. Girl, I can't with that.
Is there another?
She was just overall rude to the other castmates, to me.
Absolutely.
And it turned me off from her. And maybe that's what she was paid to do. And if so, sis, get your bag and
the villain.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like every show needs a villain.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Are we saying that sometimes the angry black woman label is warranted?
No, I'm saying that maybe it's curated and paid for.
So how would you describe her character on that show?
On that show? I don't even have words. Rude as fuck. Period.
Okay.
Period. That's how I would describe her on that show. Like,
but not angry black woman, just rude.
I mean, she had her angry moments that didn't seem necessary. I'm just like, what are you so mad for? Like, she would come into situations and because she wasn't the spotlight or the moment, she was irritated about that. I'm just like.
So do we just not, is that something that we just don't need to label? Or
angry
that
black woman?
Yeah, like do we need, it's annoying when it's a overall, I feel like it's yeah.
In this case, I don't know if it's
I don't know.
Oh.
Like I think when you're putting it on like an entire group of people, that is when it's annoying.
Yeah,
but if it's actually true about you, is it
correct?
Like is it still bad?
But why don't the problem for me is that we never call it to anybody else. Like we're never like that's an angry white man.
Right. At all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I think we do it our own way.
But it's not like a stereotype that's understood.
So what, you say he's a dick?
Right. Or
he's a bigot.
Well,
is that the same?
No, I can run down a list, but I ain't going.
I was going to do there. Oh,
Dan is Danning today. We should do that.
Why does it sound more rude?
Is there like a race-wide negative stereotype for white men? But because we have Karen for women.
This is it.
No.
Wait, that wasn't a shot. I'm saying like we know. I can think of one for.
But do you get why I did it?
Tell her. Please explain.
Nope.
Oh! I hate it here. I hate it here so bad. So bad. I hate it here.
Oh wow.
Sorry, that's terrible.
Is that gonna
I
make
feel
it?
like we should hit that this.
Okay, so is there a stereotype that is for white men in general, like there is for Black women?
I mean, no.
For only white men or white men and women?
Well, again, I think
Yeah,
there's
we
one.
said
We said
Karen
Karen
for
for,
the
white
women.
women,
Definitely Karen.
but there's not a. I don't think there's a white male equivalent. I don't think.
Isn't there a phrase that they've been using recently though?
Who is they? Black
White
Twitter?
no, white people talking about white men.
Who? Yeah, the African American nerds. Who is they?
I'm not doing it, but you yeah.
Fair.
Well,
Dan?
yeah,
Because what have they been calling
John?
They've been calling them like oh no, I'm thinking white fragility. I think I felt like there was a phrase like somewhere in that
Somewhere
vein,
in
but I
there.
can't think of it.
only thing I can think of kinda is like Napoleon complex, but that could just be for short men in general.
General,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to
For
be
sure,
a white
yeah.
man.
You don't.
No. Yeah, I don't think that there is
I'm no.
All right, let's start one. Just kidding. Kinda.
kind of for real.
We can definitely move on.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think there is one.
Well, wait. Let's go back. Okay, let's not move on. Let's actually go back to what we were supposed to be talking about.
Proud of us. Look at us.
Gabrielle Union and her. We talked about her reputation in the industry, but she recently had an issue come up where I feel like she was supported despite her reputation.
By who?
Yeah.
The general public, not her well, we can go into it, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know all the details. I just remember she had an issue with Terry Crews and him speaking out on something that no one asked about.
Normal. Isn't that? Remember when we thought Terry Crews was the shit and then he started speaking?
Yeah, it's like,
We're
wow.
oh, wait a minute.
he started speaking.
These are your opinions?
Sit down. Sit down. Say anything else.
That ain't it.
Damn, we even got a phrase for that. Being Uncle Tom. Damn.
Ooh.
Sheesh.
Okay.
Yeah, white men need one. White women, you stand with us too. Because you have one.
White
They
women
don't.
are trying to get Karen added as a slur. That's what they're doing right now.
Are they
They
really?
are. Yeah, they are. They are upset. They are in arms.
But see,
I mean, I'm upset too about angry Black women, so I'm okay with them being upset. I just feel like there should be equal opportunity stereotypes across the board.
But they shouldn't
Agreed.
be saying that being called Karen is the equivalent of being called a nigger.
Yeah,
which
no,
is
no,
what,
no.
so then I want
Which
to
is what they're
know
doing.
what
I totally
what
agree.
white women call their white men
Wait,
when
guys.
they're mad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Go back.
Let's.
We're on
I know,
Gabrielle
but-
Union and Terry Crews. And so the issue was that Gabrielle
We're
Union
terrible.
had been very outspoken about her experiences of racism when she was on America Got Talent, or AGT as they like to call it. Following her and the fellow judge Julian Hughes' exit 1 year before their last season, I guess. Exits last year after one season, sorry. They both were on for one season, they both left. And Gabrielle's complaints were that it was a very racist environment in general. I think she said everything from on set and then even behind closed doors, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it wasn't there an issue with her hair? Because
Yeah.
she was very, I guess, deliberate about wearing more Afrocentric hairstyles, and I think there was a complaint about her hair always changing
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
or something.
And I think there was like other stuff, like just like Simon smoking on set.
Oh
And
yeah,
how her like wish to like not be around secondhand smoke was like not being regarded.
Mm.
That's just basic.
also, isn't it illegal to smoke indoors?
I thought it
what
was.
are we
Me
doing?
too.
Right. But what is Simon Cowell?
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay, so where Terry Crews comes in, I think she said it was a racist environment, and he specifically was like, "Oh, I've never experienced that." Right?
Yes. That's where instead of her like
Did anybody
she
ask
was-
him?
That's what I'm saying. I
was
don't
gonna say,
remember
it was a very
well-
public. She made a very public statement, and I guess people were saying, "Oh, well, you weren't the only black person that worked there. And then he jumped on the bandwagon and was like, unasked. Well, I didn't have no problem.
Not me.
Right.
That's because he's trying to keep his check. He got a lot of kids.
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Regardless of any of that, he could have kept his job and not said nothing. He didn't have to say nothing.
He didn't. But maybe he was paid, like, not necessarily paid, but maybe somebody hit him up and was like, I think it might be really good for
as the other black man on the show.
Right.
Black person.
Say something so we don't get in trouble.
Correct.
Which feels very Uncle Tomish because it is, in the terms we used earlier, very slave master, go out there and perform for everybody else so that so I can make money off your work scenario is what it gave.
Wowzer.
Yeah, not a great look for him. That's really why everyone was mad at him. I think it was very much him not supporting her, but it was also like that also. Like, just because it wasn't your experience doesn't mean you need to go out there and be tap dancing for people.
Yeah, that doesn't make it untrue either.
Exactly, is that your experience doesn't invalidate mine.
Right.
Yeah.
But who did you say? You said that Gabby was very supported in this.
I felt like the general public was supportive of her. She also didn't ask for people to boycott whatever network.
I mean, we don't watch it anyway, so that was an easy boycott.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, sis,
Man,
I stand with you.
Show.
I probably
would watch anyway.
I probably only watched a little bit of it to see or a clips of what she had on or what she whatever.
I do remember like watching, like being more clued into like her moments where she was like judging because she was a vibe. Like her hair, her outfits, she was like always on point. And because I follow her on Instagram, I was probably seeing them more because she was posting them.
Yeah, same. Because I couldn't tell you who was on that show now. Does it even still come on?
But that's the reason that they have someone like her, right? Is to bring us as an audience to the show.
Right.
So like from that standpoint, she was doing her job.
Yeah.
She was, but she was also being told to mute herself.
That wraps into the Amanda Seales thing. Because that's why they brought her onto the show. To then be like,
well, don't be problematic.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're talking too much.
Yes.
It's a
on
talk
the show. The talk.
It's
right.
It's a talk show.
Is it called The Talk? Is it The Real?
The Real.
Oh, shoot.
That's
my
the other
joke.
one. That's the other one.
Yeah, she was being too real.
Oh,
which was a problem.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, there we go.
But I feel like it's also what they do to a lot of. I feel like that's what they do to us. They put a prominent, what some would perceive as a prominent person in play. Then they puppet master them to make us think that that's what we should do. And then we follow suit thinking that it's what, that's what they like. That's the norm. That's what's in. And then we then become a bunch of robots.
Well, also the problem is that like people really don't want to hear about how race plays a role in everything in this country.
Right.
Correct.
And you know that's what Amanda's going to do. So like people don't want to hear like, oh my God, we can't talk about this like every episode. Well, we can because it probably affects it.
Yeah, it's also the Amanda Seales situation was also interesting because those are all women of color. There was not a host on that show that's not.
Well, there was at that time. Because Osborne, wasn't she on it?
No, girl, wrong show.
No.
The Real. It was Jeannie Mai, Adrienne Ballon, and Lonnie Love,
and one of the
and Amanda. Oh, was Tamara on it at the time?
No,
I don't think. I think she replaced Tamara.
Yeah, she replaced Tamara.
Okay, yeah. Shoot. So they're.
Why? I was like, I had that point ready to go.
Wrong.
Because I felt like someone talked about it.
That wrong was so.
Bet. I should have used it on you earlier in this podcast. How many times you were wrong?
You could have. I mean,
go ahead.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. Wrong.
I guess it's also the fact that you're hardly wrong. So when you are, it's like.
See, that's another problem.
First of all, that is not true.
That is another problem.
What?
That we do to each other. Like, you're almost never wrong. And I done blasted you, and I'm always loud or wrong. And it's fine.
I try to give you grace. What'd you say last time? You said something about Frankie Beverly, and it was the Gap Band?
No, I didn't say that. I know the difference between Frankie Beverly and...
No, not out. You definitely... Someone was... Whoever you said the name was, it was not correct.
Oh, okay. But it wasn't Frankie Beverly. I know that.
Well, it was Frankie Beverly, but you didn't say that.
I
I know Frankie Beverly, so I would never get that wrong. Sis, we're trying to tell you that you got it
Here
wrong.
I am, Mom. Anyway.
Lord.
Man, when we listened to it back, I was like, ooh, how did we miss that?
Nobody corrected? Grace.
Okay, so back to the real. Amanda Seales. It's interesting. Everyone on that show is a person of, well, it's canceled. Everyone on that show was a person of color. And it still seemed, I guess it was I don't know if it was on, like if the personalities had an issue with Amanda or if it was more behind the scenes producers type of situation had an issue with Amanda.
The thing I gathered, because it was never disclosed per se, was that there was an issue with upper management and her. So I'm assuming her pro-blackness was rubbing against the way in which they wanted to format the show, and and who the audience that they were trying to
attract,
maintain, literally. Because I think that's another thing too. Like I think when she came on, to me, things weren't going that great anyway. Like the writing was kind of on the wall, and to me, I thought personally, I was like, yeah, y'all need to try something different, and I think they did, but they weren't ready for
what that meant.
Right? Yeah, and then, again, going all the way back when you're talking about and I know this is not a diversity hire, but just saying somebody who is a diverse point of view.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't bring somebody in with that diverse point of view if you're not ready to grow, because what's going to happen is exactly what happens every time. They're considered to be the problem when really it's you.
Right.
And Amanda also isn't like, she's a big name, but I don't know if she's like well liked.
No,
right.
I will say she's not well liked.
So like she's not like, it's not like you have a diverse opinion, but you are a liked personality.
Right.
You know,
that feels mean.
I mean, I'm not
liked by who?
I mean, I'm not talking down about her.
I don't know.
I don't know if she has the person, like, for example, like a Tamara or an.
She's likable.
But wait.
Is that what you're saying?
This is an interesting part of this conversation, because could you say that about Monique and Gabrielle too?
Prior.
What, that they're not likable?
No, I would say prior to like Instagram and social media becoming bigger, I probably would have said that people would assume that Gabrielle wasn't a likable personality. Just because based on her what people perceive her as and her reputation. Amanda, because she's so outspoken, I feel like she's kind of like probably not as much as Monique, but she does have a reputation for being difficult. What she says is because she sets boundaries. And when people, and which is fine. Like I agree, if people are crossing your boundaries and that's how you decide to correct them, then that's fine. But I do feel like she is, I would say Monique's not a likable personality either. Like on a more of a larger scale.
I guess I'm thinking of like the opposite side of like having a hard time thinking of an example of someone who sets boundaries, is outspoken about being wronged, and is excuse me, and is considered to be well liked or likable. I mean, I guess we can say that Gabrielle Union, because of Instagram, maybe she is that, but it kind of feels like a shitty reason.
I agree. Like it seems 1-to-1. Like when you speak out on things, all of a sudden you're a problem. Like we've mentioned
and
before.
It's interesting too, because I feel like being likable is very gendered. We don't ever talk about men being likable.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And nor is this a culture where men are sought out to be. Like women are asked to be like seen but not heard, to be cordial, to seek out people's attention, right?
Oh, wait.
Like in the way we look.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No. I feel like it's a cultural thing. So to that point, when people are, what I feel about Monique and Amanda is that though raised in a culture where they've been asked to do that, they have worked really hard to not be that for themselves, is what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
And so, but everybody else isn't on board, right? So it becomes one where like everyone else is like, well, you're not playing within these boundaries that we've said that you should be like, you should want to be like, you should want everyone to garner or feel welcome in your presence and want to be around you. And I don't feel like that's often requested of men as much as it is with women.
I thought about like Will Smith. I feel like but it may be because he's a black man. I felt like he was very likable. People would consider him likable until this whole Chris Rock slap situation happened.
First boundary he said.
Yeah, and then I would say like Simon Cowell is known to be a villain. I feel like that's his brand is to be a villain.
Right.
So those are just two men that I can think of that I don't know if they sought out to be.
But they're allowed to have this. White men especially are allowed to have that space, and that goes back to race. And as much as we want to talk about at its core, but that's literally what it is. So then you have race and gender on top of each other. So yes, I think that there's a lot to be said with regards to the way in which our European of centered culture has set this hierarchy, and anyone who is opposing it immediately ruffles everyone's feathers because we've all gotten along to get along, right?
Yeah.
So
I can only think of one. Sorry, I can only think of one black man that has capitalized being a villain, and that's 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I really can't think of another black man that's capitalized off of being a villain.
I think it's because people put agreeable and likable together. That in order to be likable, you must be agreeable. In order, you know what I'm saying?
Especially for women.
Yeah.
Right. Especially a woman. I mean, even if you use the example of Simon Cowell on American Idol. Jesus.
The voice.
He's he is the villain because he's not likable because he's not agreeable. But I mean, some would say that Randy, because he's mostly agreeable, that people have a tendency to like him. Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
it's a no for me, dog.
But it's how he presents things. Like he's typically the kind-hearted one out of the two. So people, I don't know. That's just a very loose example.
I don't know if he was able to capitalize off of it like Simon.
No,
like, I don't.
No.
First of all,
Absolutely not.
I don't even know what
Where
else
is
he's
he now?
done. Or I was about to say, never mind, I'm not gonna say that.
No.
I don't know what he's done, but Simon Cowell has. Wasn't he fired from American Idol for something he said or did, and then he still got another job?
Probably.
I can't remember
The fact
what
that
it
we
was.
don't even know if that's true, and we don't know. Damn.
I'm gonna look it up because I feel like he left. I feel like he didn't leave American Idol.
I will say, I looked up a little bit of a snippet of Amanda expressing why she left the reel, and she said, because it was breaking my spirit, I was asked to not talk about certain things that felt like a betrayal to my people. And then on top of that, I didn't want to be somewhere where I felt like people weren't honest with me and where people felt scared of me because of my black womanness.
Yeah, but that's giving me, she wasn't buying into the puppet master thing, because I feel like, in my personal opinion, for watching the reel on day one versus the reel of like a year or two in, I was just like, who are these people? Because they were not the same people that were just getting like Lonnie Love. I feel, and I don't know these people, but again,
You don't?
I don't know these people, obviously. But the image that they portray us, I guess I should say, would give like everyday, like Lonnie Love was giving me everyday auntie vibe comedian who's trying to come up, right? And then they put her with other people, and she's supposed to be the funny one, but then I think something shifted, and then like the puppet mastering thing started happening.
You mean the constant check? Because let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Constant check on TV is
yeah, I mean
nice.
That, but it the well, not even just the constant check. It was like it's almost like the director directing them to be outside of what their normal is.
Yeah.
So it's like day one, they're giving you norm, they're giving you the real, and then the real turns to be very fake.
Right. Because like, how would you ask me to be on this talk show called The Real and then tell me that I can't say certain shit?
Right.
Exactly.
That is intuitive to me to speak.
Right.
on.
Like you paying me for my opinion, and I'm giving you my opinion, but now you don't want me to give my opinion?
Well, here's the thing though. Capitalism, point blank period. They were brought on to make money. And if they were afraid you was going to mess up that money, then they was going to ask you to do something that wasn't authentic to who you are. So I think that's another hard line when you're talking about an angry Black woman too, because you're in these positions of possible exposure, more responsibility, but then you're asked to shrink yourself at the same time, because when you're being you, it's hard for some people to be able to swallow, and they want you to be, they're like, well, we like you, but like not all of you, like do it light.
Like 30% of you.
Right. You light.
But mainly because they're afraid of what the bottom line is. Like if they knew for like the 50 Cent thing for me, it makes me think he has the autonomy to do that because it was making him money. Every time he did something, made him money. Yeah. And it was making the people associated with him money. Right. If you're in any position where you're not able to make that decision for an overall company or whatever the case may be, and it's not doesn't look like it's going to generate money, or it's going outside of the parameters that they're used to, right? Because there's like this whole like, these set of things work. We need to do these set of things. And if you're going outside of that, the uncertainty or how that's going to mess with the money is definitely going to affect what you do next.
Right. Because even, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Because even with, I'm going to try to get it right. The Talk. No, but not this show. I'm talking about a different show. Okay. With I think Sharon Osbourne was on that one, and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
That's not The View?
That's two different shows.
Dang it.
So Sharon is on The Talk, Whoopi is on The View.
Okay, it's The View. Because it was the one with Whoopi, and then Meghan McCain was on that show?
Yeah, The View.
Okay. See, all these and the one word of these shows I don't watch. Okay. So whatever show Whoopi was on.
Give your opinion on it.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I watch this one a lot with my mom. See, they all blend together because she just have it on one channel and then just goes from one show to the next. Yeah. That's why it's hard for me to differentiate. But they had Meghan McCain on this show, and she was clearly like the dissenter of the group from everybody, all the other personalities on the show. Yeah. But what her base was conservative America. So that brings in a whole bunch of views, a whole bunch of money that the other people don't bring in. So while she was the less likable personality, because of her views and because of the viewership that brought, it was okay.
Well, also I feel like most people who are home in the middle of the day.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I mean, before the pandemic?
Yeah. During the pandemic?
Yeah.
I mean, it was my mom too, so.
I think your mom is an anomaly. Not an anomaly, but there's more.
I mean, my mother watches The View.
Okay. I just want to say that most.
We're anomalies. Got it.
Most people that are home in the middle of home during the day are middle-aged white women that have the luxury of being at home because they don't are like stay at home for whatever reason.
Yes.
So, and those people usually are of a certain class.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And making a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of Amanda Seales' demographic is not at home in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? If they were.
They'd be calling in from the office. Used to watch it. They'd be calling in from the QB talking about
with their whole headset on.
Not streaming it on their phone. But I did want to say really quickly, Simon Cowell left American Idol. He did not get he did not get fired.
Before or after there were some issues and he was like, let me go.
They probably gave him an option, which is also a whole nother conversation.
I'm not quite sure. I didn't have time to Google that much and go down the rabbit hole. I just needed something to
respond with.
Yeah, respond with.
We appreciate you.
Oh, but back to 50 Cent really quickly. I did want to make a point. I do think it's interesting that he has talked so much ish about stars publicly, where all of his shows are currently airing. And all of his shows are still airing on that network. And it was mind-boggling. They must be getting, the check must be worth his Twitter rants or whatever. Because I'm just like, God dang.
Wait, I'm lost.
Like Stars the show, not Stars.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not why. The network.
Yeah.
I'm lost on what shit he's talking.
He's, so like, I remember, so one thing I remember is his episode.
Explaining stars. Not the ones in the sky, but...
Not shooting.
Well, because when she said stars at first, I literally thought he was talking about like how he talked about Madonna, how he talked about like other people.
Wow, y'all were not even on the same page.
No, I knew she didn't. I knew that's not what she was correcting. Thank you. I was trying to make my joke funnier.
Gotcha. It was funny. It was funny.
I was with you. It's fine.
Your joke was still funny.
Okay,
Thank you, Trey. I know.
Okay. So back to my point. I remember one of his episodes like dropped when it wasn't supposed to or something, and he was pissed, and he was going about like how they dropped his episode early or like they had agreed to dropping on this day and they dropped it on this day instead. He was mad. He was like how much he hates working with stars and he wants to pull all his shows from them, but Raising Kanan, I think, just dropped or something. Like he's been very public about his disdain for this network.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that's a gimmick. I feel like he does a lot of that shit.
That's a good point.
Because
this is his character.
Yes.
Let me tell you about if I pulled this gimmick at my job, though.
Well,
true. Because you never hear 50 Cent being like, you know what I'm really happy about today?
Yeah. Not once.
Says troll.
And the fact that people still borrowing money from him is also astonishing.
That's what's so funny. I feel like he'd be like, my check feel kind of light this week. Who owe me some money? That's be why he's on social media.
Yeah. He lives for it.
He does. He's the type of, when I think of him, I think of like a real troll, like someone green and grumpy
under a bridge.
Like an actual troll.
Hang upside down like it was at the Super Bowl.
You know what's also funny? Trolls are now like cute and like colorful and sing all the time.
They were cute, but you didn't
have the troll. You used to shake the hair.
You're right.
That's what they're
That's where it comes from.
Okay. I think it's time for tips tangent.
That's one thing
I need a moment to connect myself.
It's tangent.
I forgot about those things.
Wow. Okay. Not you being like, oh wow, trolls have come a long way.
They
You're
have
the
not.
generation that's like, what?
Oh, man.
All right.
Lord. I am not this old.
Mm-hmm. Are you not?
This has been a doozy of an episode, y'all.
Sure has.
What was
All
topic
over the
again?
place.
Just kidding.
You're
Goodness
angry.
Okay, sorry, you can do it now.
One thing we're going to do
Not you queuing her up.
is tangent.
She tried to do it before, but we treaded on
We
her.
did. This is ghetto. This is so ghetto.
What's something you would tell your younger self if you could go back in time?
That it's all gonna work out.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like
That was so positive.
that nigga that you really thought that life was over.
You
Like
were-
you was gonna get over it.
Yeah. It's all gonna be right. It's all the ups and downs are like I like who I am. And I think that all of that has come from a lot of stuff that in the moment I definitely was like, I don't want to do this. Like, is there a
Like
way
detrimental,
around?
yeah.
Right. Like, can we fast forward through this? But like,
I prayed that prayer.
ooh.
I did it last night when I was moving. Lord, can I just wake up on Monday morning?
I still pray that prayer.
You know what I would tell myself? The thing that you told the Lord you won't go do no more if he got you out of the one situation, it's probably going to happen again.
Oh wow! So like you lied.
I mean,
that's what
you
you're
be
going to tell your
lying,
younger
sis?
self?
I mean,
Sis, you be lying to God. Wow.
Wow.
okay. While I'm
So
on blast,
Not to.
While
But
I'm on-
that you're just going to do it.
I'm gonna say try not to, but I just thank goodness that he's a God of 7 and 8 and 9 chances
Girl, he
because
didn't believe you the first time, so I don't know why you're going to tell yourself.
exactly.
Is he
So
all knowing?
what I'm saying
God was
is,
watching you lie before
y'all
it turned
gonna
into
sit,
a
y'all
lie.
gonna sit up here and act like y'all ain't never prayed that prayer. Y'all gonna
No,
sit,
we're just saying that's the thing you want to tell.
I'm just saying,
Hey,
y'all were getting too serious.
Hey,
I had to break it up.
young Nicole, you're a liar. Just wanted to point that
He
out.
lied to God himself.
But don't worry, you be all right.
Out of all of the people to
I'm
lie
not
to,
alone.
you gonna lie to God a lot.
I
wanna
just
let
thank
you
God
know.
for his forgiving grace. The
So you
same.
weren't gonna tell yourself that God forgives. You're gonna tell yourself that you're a liar. Wow. Nicole to her younger self.
Not well. I'm just saying.
Wow, that was the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for my hand clap. Because you're finally that you probably did
I was
the
gonna
same dumb
stop.
shit I did.
Do something else.
No.
I don't remember what number that is.
That's one.
No. It's too late now.
Ooh, that was a great laugh.
I hope that when you tell your younger self that I wasn't around. I hope I wasn't there that day.
Oh, God.
You probably were. But you were probably the one, the catalyst.
Whoa, whoa. That's not true. That is absolutely not true.
Oh, I'm in tears.
Is there another?
And there's the lie. And there's the lie.
I'm not calling my younger self a liar.
So you gonna lie and not say that you're okay. All right.
I'm just telling myself I'm giving myself a pep talk. That's not the pep talk I'm giving myself. That's all I'm saying.
She didn't specify that it was a pep talk.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because I have real conversation with me and mine.
Me, myself, and I.
No, just
Can you imagine your younger self being like,
what?
I have real conversation.
As you go back through the portal, it's like, but are there flying cars? Is there anything else?
Is there anything positive you want to leave
Give
me
me the
with?
lottery numbers at least. Nothing.
oh, God, leave.
Girl, you gonna lie to God. Get used to it.
Shush.
Then you out.
See?
Wow.
Wow, your tangent never goes in the direction that I expect it to go. Not even gonna hold you.
I think that's why she does it.
Oh, my God.
I literally can't stop crying. My throat hurts so bad from laughing.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
Should I move on to meme of the week to give you a break?
No,
Oh, do you have something to tell your son yourself?
I was going to.
Oh,
Everybody
okay,
else do it. I thought only 2 people went.
I co-sign Sias.
Yep,
That was a cop out.
Lies.
Okay. Well, you go and I'll think of something
Okay.
positive.
Mine's also positive. Sorry,
See?
Nicole.
Pray
I think
for
I
me,
would just
y'all.
tell myself like this, relax. Like, you're really gonna like your life. Like, you don't have to worry about these things. Like, I know they seem like very pressing and looming large right now, but like, you're really gonna like your life. Like, even the things that you thought were mistakes, like, just chill. Like, you're gonna be fine.
I'd like to say you basically just piggied off Sias as well. So
I was waiting for that to come.
Right,
I was
so
waiting for that.
I'm keeping mine.
I mean, these are giving me affirmation, and that's not what the task was. So,
Okay, listen, you chose violence, and that's fine.
By yourself.
Right.
All by yourself.
at least y'all know who I am.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go on a meme of the week because it's also choosing violence, and I feel like we'll just stay on this trend.
That's
Why
fine.
not?
Time for meme of the week.
Meme of the week. Meme of the week.
Okay. So this one's from It's On Site, and it says, walked past a group of girls. One was tipsy and waved at me. Her friend whispered her and said, "No, he's ugly."
Emotional damage.
All right, I got one more.
Can you imagine like trying to turn around, but as you are about to turn around and look, do that last look, you hear somebody talking about how ugly you are? You're
Also,
like,
it wasn't a whisper if you heard it.
Right. Also, how close were you?
Can we address it?
probably, you know,
You
you're
yelled
walking
at
by
this.
somebody.
No, he was ugly. Was this pre-COVID? Because if you that close after COVID, like,
I agree.
Oh.
Okay, this one's from, is it Justin LaBoy or Justin LA Boy?
I think LA boy is what I thought.
I say both, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, respectfully, Justin is what his thing says. Waking up in bed next to the person you have blocked. Smiley face. Respectfully.
Toxic
Wow.
101.
What
Yes.
a time.
For those of y'all that related to that,
Stop! Just do something else!
I mean, once upon a time in my life.
First of all, it be like that sometimes.
Right.
is that when you were praying to God? God, I will never do this again.
It might have been. It might have been at least, right?
And him looking like, I know where you're going to be next week.
Next to that same nigga.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
Oh, have mercy.
Well, what an episode this has been.
Yeah, this has been interesting. You guys
this has
ready
been
for
enlightening.
your afro shades? Y'all ready to?
I feel like we've been as shady as we possibly could today. Well, me,
Oof.
I have.
Yeah,
To yourself, though, is what's very
Yeah.
fascinating about all of this.
It's like she put the pedal through the floorboard at this point, all the way in with
Nicole,
violence.
is there anything else you want to tell your present self? Like that's different than what you would tell your past self?
I definitely thought you were gonna say that you would give your past self the lottery numbers from last week. Sorry, go ahead.
You want to split it?
Yeah, because because now I'm thinking like if I gave it to my past self, would it actually have happened? And then like I don't know, there's
Overthinking.
Not you
Yeah.
in the space-time continuum. Okay, Nicole, what's your average?
Went left.
Maybe the
Just
numbers
talking
wouldn't
about
have
in
fallen
general.
like that. And if they
Yeah.
did, would I have gotten it on the right day?
a lot of things to contend with.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. So
Anyway.
after shade, it's our time to wrap up this episode and give the people some positivity for the week.
Kinda.
Positivity for the week.
I got the message.
Positivity.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I can find some positivity.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I'm
I have
nervous.
to reiterate. Right. Zen in real quick if you can, Nicole.
Here we go. I'm here to affirm you today that it is nobody's business to label you as the angry anything,
Okay.
whether you are any person of color or not.
What is that?
Even if you're Dan, that be Danin. Still not appropriate. All right.
Not your aftershave not being for people that are white.
The whole premise is the angry Black woman, right? Okay.
Yep.
And I'm
Okay.
saying that it is nobody's business or place to label you as angry anything, whether you are man, woman, whatever you identify as. It is nobody's place to label you as that. You can be positive. You can be violent that day if you choose. If that's your prerogative and if it is falls within your standards and boundaries, then be that.
Like figuratively violent.
No. Yeah.
You
Sorry.
sure? Which one is right? You didn't get the clap a little early.
All right.
Another cockback.
I was trying to register what figuratively was in my mind.
Like not literally.
No.
Okay.
No.
Just checking.
We don't have to be physically violent.
Okay. Just like that's a question.
Anyway.
More than a statement from Nicole.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
How violent can you be in
You
this
ready to go
moment?
to?
Oh, sure.
I mean, you don't have
I had a point and then I lost it asking Nicole that question, so I'll wait a second.
Okay. I would like for us to come up with a generalization for white men.
That's your affirmation for
Yeah.
people?
That is my charge.
I'm charging you.
This is my charge for the week.
Okay.
Violence. Okay.
No, that's not my aftershave.
It is.
I actually don't have one yet. So Saya,
Okay. All right. We're
and
just
come
sliding
back
on.
to come back to me
Okay.
and Tiff.
All right. So I think my affirmation for the week is going to be okay with taking up space. I think that the problem that a lot of what we are encountering right now as Black women in the workplace, as a person of color who has entered into a homogenous state of at work, they're asking you to be there, but asking you to also to culturally assimilate. So my affirmation for individuals this week is that they hired you to be the diversity, but you don't have to be. You don't have to conform. You don't have to stand up and raise and say when things aren't right. You can just be yourself. I think a lot of this, a lot of the tropes have moved people into trying to steer clear one way or another, or even to stand up and stand in something. And I'm affirming for our listeners this week that it's okay to be yourself and for everyone else to catch up to whatever that is. I think a lot of times we are meant to hold the world on our shoulders with regards to people needing to learn or be educated culturally, or to even find their own space within being okay within themselves. And especially for Black women, we are asked to be the model while also being punished for being the model. And so I'm affirming for everybody to just be okay with wherever you're at and understanding that it's going to be a push and a shove to just be yourself. But as long as you are affirmed in that and move forward, and however you need to move, the right doors will open, the right ones will close. There'll be people who better understand themselves because you better understand yourself. So I affirm for you just to be okay with where you're at and to also just stand firm in it as you grow, as you move to whoever that person is going to be, because the rest of the world will move as they need to after that, or you'll find a better place for you and another place. But either way, just be okay with being that person and allowing everybody else to kind of run around that pebble.
That what?
That pebble, like in the stream,
Okay.
of life.
I'll go next.
I hate going after you.
Me? Oh, okay. Well, it's great.
Thanks.
He'll go after me instead. Okay. I affirm for our listeners that self-advocacy, like it's okay to advocate for yourself. I feel like a lot of times in the workplace, we are scared to set boundaries. We're scared to advocate for ourselves because we're scared of like what that might yield, how people might react, how people are going to perceive us afterwards. But I feel like a lot of times that's what the intention is with making us feel bad for advocating for ourselves, is to make us sit down and shut up. So I affirm for you that it's okay to advocate for yourself. It's okay to set boundaries, and it's okay to do the things that make you feel like you're safe and heard and understood in your workplace, and that no one can take that away from you, and that you don't have to feel any shame or fear in that. And even if you find that your workplace won't acquiesce to those requests, like there is a workplace for you, there is a space for you, there is a path for you, where you feel like you can bring your whole self to what you do.
Yay. A word.
Thanks.
I would like to affirm that you are great. You are an amazing person just the way you are. I think to summarize what everyone has already said, there is a place for you, and that you don't have to settle to be in a place because currently the money seems like it's great, or you feel like you don't have any other options. There's always other options for you. There's always something that's a little bit that could be better. And if you're really uncomfortable, then you should make those changes for yourself. I think sometimes we are only seeing the right now, and sometimes the right now can be extremely overwhelming to what is most conducive to your future. All money is not good money. And so we should continue to put ourselves first. And I affirm that you will keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're making decisions.
That's good.
So with that, we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Peace.